Good morning, this is Carrie Percy. How's everybody doing this morning? I'm doing great. We are going to talk about Premiere and its interface a little bit. Hi, here I am. The Premiere interface is a little bit different than most interfaces that you've already connected with. So I wanted to deeply go over a little bit of the differences. So let's get started by launching Premiere. I'm using Adobe Premiere Pro CS5. If you're working with CS6 or CS4, it's going to be very, very, very similar. There may be some slight changes, but overall it's going to be the same thing. So we're launching, and just for a second I have my YouTube channel up so we can see what my channel looks like. You're going to be working on something very similar to this, creating a professional YouTube channel for your professional work. Video is extremely in demand. As a graphic designer, it's very helpful to know video editing and how to function in the video land. So Premiere Pro is still launching, but you can see I have a channel graphic there. I have yet to create a channel trailer because currently my channel is all over the place, but I'm going to be creating a channel trailer soon. I have playlists here, and I have a playlist for you to watch. No, just kidding. I have a section. Where's my sections? Let's see. Here it is. Video editing. And I'll provide this link for you. I accidentally saved that one twice. There are some videos that we'll be watching in class, compare and contrast. There are some underwater videos, which we won't be filming underwater videos, just so you know. Sorry about that. But the editing on those, some of those are nice. There's also some composition and framing, camera movement, the 5 deadly sins of amateur video, how to get that cinematic look on a zero budget. Let's see. And then Film Riot's how to make a music video. Film Riot does a lot of videos, so if you subscribe to them via YouTube, that would be beneficial to you. So minimize that. What's going on? Oh, that's what's happening. So at the beginning of Premiere Pro, you'll see this intro screen that allows you to either create a new project, open a recent project, or help. So these are my recent projects in a list. There's usually about 5. But if you're creating a new project, which we are today, you'll click on New Project. Now it's going to ask you, before you even get into the interface, what kind of video are you going to be making? And the video we're working with is timecode. Feet plus frames. Feet plus frames is for film, actual film, which they do still shoot on film. Timecode is what we're working with because we're working with digital video. So audio, the display format would be audio samples that you want, and it's pretty much already set up to be set up this way for you. And your capture format will be either HDV or DV. We're going to start off with DV, HDV, HD, high definition video, or digital video. And we're going to go ahead and name our project here. And the name of this project will be Intro to Video Editing. And the location, you can browse and create a folder for yourself, desktop, new folder, this video project, create, and then hit choose, and it'll save that there in that location. So you're automatically saving it initially. The reason for doing that is it will auto-save for you. Okay, so what we're working with is digital video, DV, or HDV. Probably the camera that you'll be using is HD. So the choices here are 1080 or 720. So we're going to start off with working with 720. It's a smaller size, it's a little bit more manageable, but the video itself, I believe, is 1080. So simply because we're going to go 720, that's the size, that's the dimensions, and you can see over here all the information, the preset description. 16:9 is the ratio, width by height. 1080p HD video at 23.976 frames per second. That's the frame size, 1440 by 1080, frame rate, pixel aspect ratio, HD anamorphic 1080, and it's progressive scan. You definitely want a progressive scan. We'll go over that in a little while longer or later. And so either 1080p 24 or 720p. So the frame size for that is 1280 by 720. It's the vertical dimension that they're going from. This is 1440 high, or horizontal, sorry, wide. Horizontal, 1440 wide by 1080 vertical. So we'll just start off with HDV 720p, and you can change those here. The other one we might use would be DV NTSC, but those are lower quality, so we're going to use the HDV for these purposes. Now, it also prompts you to create a sequence name, and your sequence is actually your timeline. So we're going to call this video timeline 1. So hit OK, and up should pop everything that we need. And here we are. Okay, so we're in video editing mode. We have many different frames here to look at. There's actually 5 different frames. The first one is your project frame, and it shows your video timeline and any of your files. So if you import files to edit, they will be here. This is your source, which is also your slug, and this is your actual timeline footage. So that's the frame that as you go across your timeline, it's actually going across here at the same time. So there's your play button to play. There's nothing to play, so nothing's happening. This is all also your media browser down here, your info, effects, history. So you can quickly go through and look for files. But the best way to do it is to start off by file, import. So we're looking for video files. So I'm going to go to my desktop and look for my video files. And there's, no, I don't think so. Percy Video, open. So let's just do one of these. Now, MOV files are QuickTime files. MP4 files are also QuickTime files, but those are files that are lower quality. So your MOV files are files that you'll probably be getting from your SD card. So I'm going to import that. I can, and it shows here, and the label is video. You can even see a preview up here, and you can even play that preview to see what it's going to look like. Or you can scrub through it, and it looks like there's nothing. Oh, there it is, there it is. Okay, so let's also bring in or import some music. So the quickest way to get to my music is through the very bottom here under Media, Music, and it will take me probably to my iTunes, which it does. I can view it by name, artist, time, whatever. So if I'm looking for a specific time limit, like a really long one, or a really short one, I can use the time to try to find music that I'm looking for, or if you know the name of whatever it is you're looking for. And there it went to autosave. I don't know if you noticed that. So I'm going to click and hold down the Apple or Command key to select more than one thing at a time. So I have 3 things selected. I'm going to hit open, and it's importing those files, and those show up a little bit differently as little icons, so you know which ones are just audio and which ones are video. It has a little frame with audio there. So to get started, we can double click on this file, and it'll show up in our slug window, and it shows exactly what it will look like. So we can drag, or scrub is what it's called when you click and drag your timeline bar across, or you can hit play to hear what it sounds like. And I'll turn it up so we can hear it. I think this is the edited version. Now it's kind of slow moving. Okay, that's a little loud. Anyways, what's happening is it's taking so much RAM to try to display frame by frame that it's lagging. So hitting play, it starts to play, and then it kind of jags and jumps around a little bit. And I know my video doesn't look like that because I can actually drag through and it's not actually lagging. Okay, so if I want to edit this, I can drag this down to my timeline, and it's dragging 2 tracks. It's dragging the video, which is on the top section of your timeline, and you have multiple tracks for video, and the audio, which there's multiple tracks, and there's a master, which you can't really drag to the master, but the master is always on. So if we scrub across this, we can see the video over here. Now this red line means that it has not been rendered. Now we can still watch it, but there's something about rendering it that like basically puts it into RAM so that you can watch it more smoothly, because it's all jumpy right now. So if you want to render it, you'll go up to Sequence. Make sure. Notice that there's like a yellow selection all the way around this particular timeline. When I move from window to window, it changes. So there's certain things that are grayed out if you're not on the right one. So now I have my render entire work area. So this might take a few minutes. Of course, if you were to cancel it, now it's rendering frame by frame. And if there's 24 frames per second, that's a lot of frames to go through. There's 5,885 frames to go through. So it's telling you it's going to take a little while. And this is always changing. Can't really count on that. But if you cancel it, when it's in the middle of it, and didn't happen. Typically it'll make this green when it's done rendering. So let's just see if it went any smoother. No, it did not. Another thing to notice is your overall frame is here, and there's a big black box around that. Now, if that's not a good idea. So what we need to do is to enlarge that. And to enlarge that, you can actually click here and make your frame a little bit bigger so I can see what I'm working with. Like that. So it's actually got those black bars at the top and the bottom there. And I can scale it manually. And I'm holding down Shift. So I can see it's edge to edge now. So I'll actually bring this back to normal so I can see it went off a little bit. So to get a little bit better version of that, I can double click on my video here. So it's showing here what's here, and the effects controls are what allows you to change or animate or adjust, just generally adjust the scale, and that's under motion, under video effects. Effect controls, video effects, drop down your motion, and you can see your scale, and you can actually animate that scale. Anytime you see a stopwatch in these programs, you'll know that means it's animatable. So to toggle the animation, you just click on the stopwatch, but we don't want to animate this. I just want to adjust the scale, so I can do that by just clicking on here and sliding it to where it fits. Now I can say I want that to be exactly 110, and it fits on there more perfectly. So if we scrub it across again, we don't see any of the black bars anymore. Okay. So back to and it's showing your source. So if I double click on an audio file, it's going to show me the waveform, and click dragging across that. You can hear that. Now that's pretty useless if you're trying to find a spot of music. You're actually just going to have to listen to it to get to the spot you want. And that's what typical waveform looks like. Double click on this one. Starts off soft, and this is literally the volume. So it gets louder, very soft there, so there might be a break in the music right there. And then it gets very soft, and maybe there's a little something at the end. Let's look at another one. This is loud all the way through, basically. MP3s there's something about MP3s that compress and equalize the audio in a way that it's good and bad. It makes the file size smaller, but like a JPEG, you lose a lot of the music. So it starts off soft, if you're familiar with the song, it starts off pretty soft, and then it jumps into beats right there. So and then of course singing. So if you wanted to replace the audio of something, like if you don't want the audio of what's really there, you want to replace it maybe with this song, you can drag that song down to another audio track. Wow, that fits perfectly, and that's bizarre. That never happens. I can toggle the track output off. Same way with these, just like in Photoshop, you can turn off the view. It's still there, still playing, but you can't hear it because the toggle is off. So if we go back and we start playing, we're hearing that American Boy instead of the other music that was there.
Just a #1 champion sound. Yeah.
Okay, so, and I can turn that one on and off as well. If I don't want to hear the audio, I can turn it off and on. To have them both play would sound really bizarre. It's very bizarre.
Just a #1 champion.
Yeah, so you don't want that to happen. You want to have at least one main audio track. So we're going to decide this is going to be it, the one that came with it, or this one. This one's already an edited video, so I'm going to find some other things. So you can also import images. So let's go down to photos, and it's going to go to my iPhoto, or I can go where I know there's some photos that we can work with. Come on. So I'll take some I want that. Do something else. Screenshot, PNG, JPEG. I'll just open those. Printer. So those have a different icon to show that those are images rather than video. So when you drag those onto the timeline, they have a set length, which you can actually lengthen or shorten. If you want to zoom into that small area right there, move the time scrubber to that, and you can see that's where it is. That's how big it is. And you can zoom in and out with this little mountain range here on your timeline. And you can see the actual distance that carries across. So here I can select it, and I can stretch it by just clicking on the edge and make sure I have that little icon that's popping up, and I can stretch it farther, or I can shorten it to be even very short. So if I want to change the size of it, same thing with the video, double click on it. Looks full frame here, but it doesn't look full frame here. So I'm going to go under Effect Controls, drop down Motion, and Scale, slide the Scale button until it looks like it fits better. Yeah, much better. And I can drag it up like so. You can also adjust your position within the frame this way and this way. So get it positioned where you want it. And it looks a little blurry, of course, because I scaled it up. But that's fine, no big deal. So as we scrub across it, we can see it goes, come on. We can see it goes right into the video. So wherever that stops, that's where you can see what's underneath. Now what's underneath hasn't been deleted, but this is on a video track above, like layers. It's on a video track above it, so that layer is above it and it's hiding what's below it. Now with audio, it doesn't matter what's on top, what's on bottom, they're all going to play at the same time unless you turn them off in the tracks. So that's the first video. We'll get into a little bit more in just a few minutes or whenever you're ready. So.